Hi, Spots and Cheap Pops. You're on the air.
Ladies and gentlemen, hi, Spots and Cheap Pops. Do our annual preview. Granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the immortals, of course, the grandest stage of them all. Bloody Daddy, you are the curator. When we do our picks, we do our previews. You are the guy who sets us in the direction that we're going to go in. I leave it to you, sir, now. And we're going to go off the rails a little bit here, Bloody Daddy. A lot of crazy things happening in WWE the last couple of weeks. Charlotte Flair looks like an alien. John Cena's a bad guy. And Paul Heyman's going with Seth Rollins. What is going on right now?
It's crazy, man. They're keeping you on the edge of your seat right now. Triple H is just playing like a little puppet master behind the scenes here. It's great.
Pavlovian dogs. That's all we are.
That love to eat.
Well, I do. I was having ribs before.
Wonderful.
Made them myself. It was amazing. So anyway, Vlad, without any further ado, let's get into this ridiculously good card. It's going to be a good time. We're definitely going to miss Kevin Owens for sure. But it's going to be an extraordinary. And do we want to talk about Kevin Owens real quick before we get into it? We haven't had that opportunity. Let's do that, actually. This wasn't planned, by the way. This was not talked about in our pre-production. Kevin Owens.
Very sad. Just the neck injuries in general is not necessarily conducive for an extended career. Like we've seen issues with Paige, Adam Copeland as well, aka Edge, aka Cope. And it just it's one of those things. Anytime you hear of a neck injury in wrestling, it's one of those things where it could be maybe they had their last match, and that's where the gravity hits in terms of Kevin Owens, stepping away. So I'm a real big fan of that guy. He is probably synonymous for me in regards to my like and adoration for NXT, because the first event I saw was him turning on Sammy,
and he was so over with that crowd. He broke his nose or something. He had a bad injury, and he still got through the match. Beat a young Juice Robinson, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And I think he was like CJ Parker or something like that. It was like a hippie type dude.
Yeah,
that was the thing. And so that reminded me quite a bit of ECW of all things. And I was hooked. So I got to give Kevin Owens a ton of credit for that. And watching his career as he entered against, of all people, John Cena. And I'll tell you this, the one match I think one of the matches they had might have been the first match. I've rewatched that match probably 2 or 3 times. And the reason why is that match was spent almost 95% inside the ring. They did so little bullshit outside the ring in terms of furniture or anything else. They just had a really good wrestling match. And it was a great way. That was where I was really appreciating John Cena more and more. Because they had a very good match together. Cena was able to match his style, take his stuff. Owens sold like crazy. And it was just a great way to, get him over and made him legit. So so I've been following his career this entire time. I've seen a little bit of the Kevin Steen stuff. He's entertaining as always, man. He was born to be a wrestler, and that's a complete compliment in my mind.
I love it. He's been a guy that has broke boundaries. I mean, who would have thought a 6'1"? I think he's 6 foot or 6'1", chubby guy. He looks like a dude you'd see at, Tractor Supply. You know what I mean? And his passion and his ability to cut a promo, which he actually gives a lot of credit to Steve Austin. He saw Steve Austin in the airport one time, famous story, when he was still an indie wrestler, and Steve Austin said, "Learn how to cut a promo, kid," and never stopped talking. And He took it that way. And this guy has found himself, he's never been the main event at WrestleMania except for when he was when he faced Steve Austin or, he was never the one guy. I mean, Steve Austin was the reason.
Yes, I got you. Yeah, because he did it with Sammy. I forgot. I didn't realize he meant like a singles situation.
Yeah, no, he did with Sammy as well.
Yeah.
But he's never the guy that's going to be the top guy in your company. He was never going to be the top guy in WWE, at least not yet.
Yeah.
But he found himself being one of Roman Reigns's during his reign. He's one of the people, he's one of the top people that put Roman Reigns' title reign on the map.
Oh, yeah.
He I think he had 2 or 3, if not 4 pay-per-views with Roman Reigns. He has to have the most pay-per-views with Roman Reigns than anybody else during the title reign. Because he had like 2 or 3 different runs with it.
Yeah.
And he did it also as just being a really good human being. And he's done it. He's made everyone he has, every moment he can, whether it be a good written moment, which was early in the Vince days, wasn't always easy to come by. He made everything work.
Yeah.
And he still made everything work. And he was about to have a great match with Randy Orton. And it's really sad but it's not super sad because guy's done it for 20 years. And if he comes back, I hear it's 2 or 5 years, whatever it may be. The fact is Kevin Owens is one of the great people during this era that made WWE actually really good again. He's one of the guys that paved the way the last 10 years to make this a company that you actually are rooting for. I didn't root for WWE 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. He makes me root for WWE. Seth Rollins makes me root for WWE. Yeah. Everything that they gave, and now that we're just talking specifically about Kevin, he gave so much to WWE. He was offered a lot more money to go out with his boys in AEW, and he stayed because he had people he loved in WWE, and he believed that WWE was going to get better. And here it is. He's one of the top people why WWE is as good as it is right now and breaking records everywhere it goes. He's one of the biggest reasons, and it's not even close for anyone to say otherwise. Kevin Owens is a true professional, a great man, great husband, great father, and I hope he comes back soon. Or not. Anyway, now we talk about WWE's biggest event of the year, Vladdy Dottie, and you have won the Purple Nurper for a second straight quarter. You are still the Purple Nurple champion. God bless you. You beat me by one match, just one match. And that's very hard for a man with my intelligence to fathom and deal with. So we're going to start.
Here we are.
And we're going to start anew with the granddaddy of them all, Vladdy Dottie. Night 1 of WrestleMania, our preview, the greatest damn preview on the internet today of WrestleMania 41. Vladdy Dottie, give us our WrestleMania 41 Night 1 matches.
Live from Las Vegas, we're going to lead off with a tag team match. Actually, we're going to do the World Tag Team Championship match between the War Raiders and the New Day.
I think the New Day wins.
What do you got?
100% the New Day.
I'm with you entirely, man. They're going to go and legitimize the heel turn with this, and it should be entertaining because I do want to see Xavier Woods just ham it up in a heel way. So I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, I think it's needed, and then that's the reason I went with that pick myself.
No, the reality is that the New Day has been doing great work since they turned heel. Yeah, they can't even cut a promo anymore because fans boo them. And that's real heat. It's not go away heat like anorexic Charlotte. What? Anyway, we'll get to there in a second. But the reality is, though, is that the New Day is doing great work right now. They're hitting a reset button, and that tag division needs them at the top of it. So I'm 100% with you. No reason. The War Raiders, they tried with them. They did. They tried. All these indie tag teams, they've tried. The indie tag teams don't work. in WWE Universe.
Right.
Motor City Machine Guns didn't work. DIY, as great as they've been, hasn't worked. You know who works? Street Profits work.
And we'll get to that at a certain point, too.
Absolutely. I can't wait for the great times of WrestleMania 41's preview. So, yes, we both go with the New Day being your new WWE World Tag Team Champions. Are they the World Tag Team Champions on Raw? I think they are. Yes.
Yes, they are. Yep. So,
New Day.
all right,
What?
So, yeah, we are aligned there. Let's flip this over to maybe, you know what? Let's just cut to the chase. We have Jade Cargill against Naomi, which has been a pretty hot feud of late.
I thought
the big reveal occurred.
The build has been great. I feel like it's been very good. I feel like Bianca kind of turned. She's getting booed. So for me, I think it happens where something happens the first night where I think Naomi beats Jade. I really do. And the reason I'm thinking that is because there's going to be a heel turn there by Bianca in the second night. I think Bianca inadvertently might help Naomi, but a part of me is frustrated because I feel like Jade needs a win for her first WrestleMania, but she had her win last year. So I think Naomi could make it, and you better proceed with caution. That's bad.
I mean, yeah, I'm going to throw that caution into the wind, and I went with Jade Cargill on this. Yeah, you make great points, and this one I was a little 50-50 on, but I'm like, you know what? I just think on WrestleMania weekend they're going to want to showcase her in a winning manner.
Enough.
You know, and just have that spotlight on her and posing and all that, you know? So that's really the reason I flipped that to them. They pretty much, you know, Naomi's great, you know, but I'd say she's probably like on the Bailey level of things, which isn't a negative or an insult, but like Jade is like one of the shiny new toys. So let's see what we can get out of this.
And they're trying to build her up to be the biggest star that they possibly can. So I'm 100% in agreement with you there. Unfortunately, I sent Naomi. Did I?
I'm not sure. I didn't look.
I might not have. I might have picked Jade. Hold on a second.
You sit on a throne of lies.
That's night too.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You sent me two.
Oh, I did pick Jade Cargill. Sorry, bud.
What a swerve! Now, never has there been there's never been a swerve in a predictions in a pick'em segment. Can I trust any of your picks moving forward?
Maybe I should look at them moving forward. Good call. I mean, you know.
No. I'm just like making a joke about it. So you're there with Jade, correct?
Well, yeah, I picked Jade because, quite frankly, I'm in agreement with what you're saying. They want her to be the big star, but I do think Bianca eventually turns on Jade, and her and Naomi reforms. That might wait till night 2, though.
Yeah, I think hold that thought is all I'll say. When we get to another match, I'll bring it.
Because we have another video coming up, Hottie of night 2 of WrestleMania 41. I'm excited. Next match, Hottie. We are killing it right now. Already
you got 2 nights, you get 2 videos.
That's how good we are.
Absolutely. So next match. Hey, you know what? This is a little bit of I'd say like sort of a dream match in some ways for those that like maybe just like the lower level beneath the main event here.
What do you think?
It's an interesting matchup.
Brett agrees.
Seems to agree. Seems very agreeable tonight. Where we have LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu in the United States Championship. You want me to go first?
You should go first, for sure.
I went with Jacob Fatu, all gas, no brakes. It's his time to shine. They're going to spotlight him as well. LA Knight has already gotten sort of the rub.
Yeah.
Now it's time for him to do business. So
100%
That's my
agree, and
thinking.
also 100% agree. And I also think Jacob Fatu is a meteorite, just rising, 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 rising. And I also picked Jacob Fatu. You also see the disagreements between he and Solo Sikoa, and you notice that the B-side Bullet Club members of that particular faction, namely Tama Tonga, is now hanging out with Solo, where he was hanging out with Jacob before. I'm not sure if they knew exactly where they were going, but who was going to be the baby face and who was going to be the heel. I think we know Jacob Fatu is going to be the baby face, which I already thought. I actually thought they were actually going to feud going into WrestleMania. But I think this is where you're going to see the split happen. And I think Jacob Fatu you see as a big baby face in 2025 moving forward after this match or after he wins. And then I think you will see Solo eventually, if not right away, it'll happen down the line. Solo and the rest of that jack-off faction of the bloodline will turn on Mr. Jacob Fatu, which by the way, we predicted Jacob Fatu would be a big star before he was even in WWE.
Oh, yeah.
We knew he was magic. We knew what he brought to the table. So to see him come to this, it's going to be great. I think he beats LA Knight, and I think LA Knight, we'll see what happens to him afterward, but I think LA Knight deserves to have a great heel run as a top guy. That's what I want to see for him.
Yeah, I'd just like to see him towards the top and be involved. So, so we both took Jacob Fatu. We're there. Next match, another championship match. It is Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Very controversial moment.
We have to go in a little bit deeper into this particular situation than we did the rest of at least the first three anyway. Charlotte Flair is a damaged human being, and it's kind of sad to see at this particular point in time. She looks like she came out, she was embarrassed by a 25-year-old on national television where she couldn't get her shit out. She couldn't remember what she was going to say. The crowd got into her head when they were in Chicago. They're clearly covering up how frail and skinny she looks.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of rumor and innuendo about, to quote a couple of podcasts, rumor and innuendo about what's going on between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. The fact of the matter is Charlotte Flair is clearly not of sound mind and body. She's not where she was, at least emotionally, where she needs to be. I mean, she looks like Carmella if Carmella didn't eat at this point in time. And you can tell that she pretends like the boos don't matter, but just like Tiffany said, did you see that promo? Did you actually watch that promo from last week between Tiffany?
I saw clips of it. I didn't see the whole thing together yet.
Tiffany Stratton made herself that night. She said, "I'm not going to be pushed around. I'm going to do what I would need to do," because apparently Charlotte in the prior promo when they did a face-to-face, which was awkward and weird and dumb, apparently Charlotte went below the belt on Tiffany and was off script. So Tiffany came packing, and for her to bring up how she's 0-3 in marriages, for Tiffany to bring up how your biggest issues with these fans and you're never going to win that battle. And if you think about Charlotte and some of the promos she's cut. She came out after missing a good amount of time a couple of years ago and was trying to spill her heart to the WWE universe, and they weren't having it. They were wutting her, and she was getting pissed because they were wutting her. This woman was handed everything the first couple of years she was in this industry. 10 or 12 world titles in the first 6 or 7 years? I mean, come on. That's a joke. And now she's paying a lot. And a lot of people are discounting how good she is in that ring. She's one of the greatest women wrestlers in the history of the business, period. But right now you're seeing a damaged woman trying to perform the way she did a couple of years ago. And I don't know if she can do it. And I certainly don't think Tiffany Stratton is that girl to be stolen on. I think Tiffany Stratton wins, and I think Charlotte Flair needs to go help herself somewhere.
Very interesting. You and I differ here, where I chose Charlotte. I figure they're going to go and reward the Queen for coming back, and
Not the way she is now. If you're Triple H, do you give that the world title? She looks like an alien. Look at this picture.
Like an ET body, or like
like one of those grays, like those typical grays.
The grays.
Yeah, because that's what she looks like.
Yeah,
doesn't even look like her anymore. It's disgusting.
I was wondering. Of course,
too, I should be able to call someone disgusting because look at this gut. No, I'm sure.
Yeah. Like some of the viewers maybe like this segment's referred to as pot kettle. But yeah, like in all regards to Charlotte, I was wondering too, if I know she had a knee injury. I know part of the process in healing is that if you're carrying a certain amount of weight and you're trying to do something physical, they actually might ask you to lose some weight, so it's not so much wear and tear on said knees. But she does look like really thin though. So I don't know if because the knee brace is definitely predominant out there. I mean, I don't know how bad it was. I mean, obviously she was out for a good amount of time, but I forget what type of injury it was offhand and all that. But
Britt Baker looks the same way though. You noticed that Britt Baker looked very like she
thin
got
too,
really small and frail.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure what's going on there either.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So with Charlotte, it's the only other thing I could think of, but. I don't know. Like I tend to not bet against Charlotte in these sort of big moments.
Did you see how awkward she was with the crowd though? In that promo?
They have frazzled her ever since she returned. Like I remember her initial was it the speech after Queen of King? It was the Queen of the Ring or whatever. I'm sorry. When she won Royal Rumble. Yeah, Royal Rumble. I'm sorry. So when she won Royal Rumble, and it's like her first comeback promo. Crowd didn't want to hear it. They didn't give two shits. They knew it was going to happen, and here we are.
Well, that's the thing is that she has 14 world championships.
Yeah.
She only started wrestling in 2015, on the main roster. Am I supposed to respect that when half her world title championship reigns were less than a month, and I think 4 or 5 of them were less than 2 weeks? Like her and Sasha Banks were trading world title reigns like it was baseball cards.
Wow.
And it was because Vince McMahon had a passion for making her beat her father's record. Now it's going to be the big moment because Vince McMahon had a big boner for her for whatever reason.
Yeah.
She's a great in-ring performer, but 14 world championships she does not deserve, nor did she earn. It's a joke. No woman is ever going to touch that record. And it's because Vince had a fetish for her. It's a joke. Sorry.
He was chasing history with her, man. And truth is, when she rose out of the ranks of NXT, along with Bayley, along with Becky, along with Sasha, it was a big moment. They legitimized a lot of what was going on at the main roster, if you will. So I give her credit. She had some great matches. Is one of the greatest, as you said. I mean, there's times where I've seen her matches where I was more impressed with what she did than Rick did. Yeah, and he's exalted upon. So, yeah, I'm with you. I understand, but unfortunately, the picks are in. I'm sticking to my guns, of course, and
it's all good. That's one. That's one more for me.
Yeah,
Tiffy time.
So.
I thought she made herself a main eventer in this. I didn't like the match. I didn't like the setup, but I do think that she has done her best, and I'm sure she had help. But for her to do what she did to Charlotte in Chicago for a 25-year-old was incredible to a veteran.
Yeah. And Charlotte looked stupid with the whole hey, why is Kaiser sliding into my DM sort of comment? It's
which didn't nail nearly as much as anything that she said.
Yeah.
And I wondered why, because Tiffany was the babyface. I wondered why she kind of escaped. She was afraid Charlotte was going to kick her ass. She was like, "You're 0-3."
Yeah.
And she said it because Charlotte cried because she doesn't want people referring herself in a divorce rate of her father, which is ironic. And that's
How
why
many does
Tiffany
he
went
have?
after her.
How many does Rick have?
He's probably 15. He's probably not as many as world championships, apparently.
Man.
And good for Rick for that. He got old fast, by the way. I saw an interview with him. He's not looking too
It's
healthy.
no good. No.
I think it's finally catching up to him.
The drinking.
And people hate his guts, so it helps.
Yeah. Yeah. Who can imagine that the Flair family is like the anti what the fans want at this point? It's amazing how it evolved.
We need David Flair to come back. The tire iron.
It's David Flair. You know what? Every once in a while, there's like a match or highlight, or I should say, low light of a match of his that hits the reels, and I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, how did he make it that far in front of the cameras, man? He had absolutely no idea what was going on in some of these matches.
He's a nepo baby. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, absolutely.
It's what it is. It's how you become a 14-time world champion in 5 years. All right, next, Vladdy Daddy. What is next on the WrestleMania Night 1 agenda?
Next, I can't wait for this match. We have Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio against the legendary luchador El Grande Americano.
Gracias!
I mean, he's my favorite luchador of all time.
Next to Ray Phoenix, he is. Definitely is.
Oh, no, I put him over Ray. Forget it. He has so much more personality than Ray, so. The way he says, gracias.
I'm 100% certain that Americana Grande is going to get his first victory at WrestleMania. I don't think it's going to be. I think Jade Cargill will be doing the wrestling. There'll be a switch moment. And I wonder if Ray wins against the guy who's like not, because there is two Americana Grande, because remember the guy was getting arrested while Chad Gable was getting interviewed. I'm just saying. But I think Americana Grande gets his first WrestleMania victory, and I am proud of it.
Because I thought it was weird that Chad Gable's not on the card. And now that you mention this, is bringing it all full circle for me.
Do you think Chad Gable might be Americana Grande?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would
you don't want to make assumptions. We have a responsibility here on High Spots and Cheap Pops.
We need to be in tune with what's going on with this television product.
Sure. But I think Americana Grande from the Gulf of America is going to win this one easily.
Yeah. I wonder at what point in the Gulf of America he hails from. I mean, is he like amphibious at this point? So, hey, next match.
Next match, Lottie Dottie, and our big WrestleMania 41 preview.
You're going to want to pull up a yeet for this match. We got Jey Uso against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship match here.
I still think Jey Uso is going to win. I wish he didn't, and I wish he wouldn't, but he's going to win. I'm hoping that it turns into a Jey Uso heel turn.
Yeah.
Because the biggest reason, too, Vlad, after all the things we talked about on one of our most recent videos of Jey Uso turning heel, one thing we didn't talk about was how stupid the heel turn of Jimmy was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It was dumb, made no sense. But he said, I don't want this. I don't want you to become who he is. If Jey Uso becomes a heel and turns heel and what have you, it would validate that heel turn, which is crazy because that heel turn was dumb and wasn't explained fully. Yeah. So then you'd be like, All right. Not too bad. But I think Jey Uso wins anyway. He wins, and they're going to get their moment where you have tens of thousands of people eating. That's all the WWE wanted for the last 6 gosh darn months. And they're going to get their fucking moment. Great job, guys. Still not a great build. They did have a great moment. The last couple weeks has been really good with beating Jimmy up in front of Jey.
That was great.
Yeah. And then Gunther cut a great promo tonight. Jey Uso cut a great promo last week and said, "You had me. It was over." But then you had to make my mom upset, and now I'm not afraid of you anymore. That you feel that. And they did a lot to bring it up. It's still not a match I'm super interested in for a world championship match.
Yeah.
And I know Jey Uso's going to win.
Yeah.
And that's who I picked.
Yeah, I agree. I chose Jey Uso as well. Just like you mentioning a possible heel turn. I would love that move if they pivoted it that way, especially if it was like on maybe Monday night while The Rock is around. Or I'm sorry, the final boss is around.
Is he going to be around at all on WrestleMania weekend or no?
I would assume, I mean, I would be shocked if he isn't. Let's put it that way. If I were betting, I would definitely say that he's going to be there.
They haven't teased it at all, though, which is interesting. And he hasn't been around.
Think about it. Yeah, since he took Cena's soul, he hasn't really been around. He's actually made more mention almost of like New Japan by wearing a T-shirt of theirs in an Instagram post. And it's like he's mentioned that more than like what's going on with Cena and Cody. Oddly quiet. Let's put it that way.
I mean, money talks volumes, and The Rock, I'm sure, can make things move in New Japan. But either way, we both get Jey Uso. What's next, sir?
So we got Jey Uso. And another thing I want to talk about that possible heel turn as well. It's the whole Travis Scott connection, man.
Oh, yeah.
Because he walked out with Travis Scott as if they were homies. Yeah,
smoking weed like a motherfucker.
And then he ends up like defeating Cena at the Royal Rumble in one of the weirdest ways. That was awkward and sort of, not like over the top in any of the slides. It was almost as if it was
in our last video. Absolutely. Yeah. It was like Cena gave it up.
Yeah. And then, next time you see Travis Scott, he's with Cena and the final boss. So then, it makes you wonder, is he maybe involved in this? And then, we'll get to the Cena match later, but I think you and I both are probably in agreement there. And if the final boss can put 2 champions under his wing and just show you that he runs everything now, that'd be a hell of a moment. Again, I can't really say, this is, me fantasy booking this thing to the gills, but, just that's what I think they've sort of laid out in some ways and have the opportunity to do. So
he did give it up. A little push off the rope.
Yeah.
God bless them. They did go at it before that, though. They were kind of going at it pretty good, but
yeah, that's true. But,
all right, next match, Fatu Daddy. Where are we at now?
I believe we're at the main event, in which you have Seth Rollins and our tribal chief Roman Reigns, and also accompanied to the ring by his best friend Paul Heyman, one CM Punk. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I think we're starting to see where the genius of Paul Heyman, the genius of Triple H, and everyone involved, including CM Punk. And then at the end of the day, everyone thinks Paul Heyman's he's coming to the ring with CM Punk, right? Okay. But he seems really loyal to his tribal chief. But that recent thing in WWE last week, at least the recent angle that they cut, where Seth Rollins almost beat up Paul Heyman, that wasn't part of Paul. I think they're going to do a swerve where it looks like Paul Heyman's going to go with Seth Rollins. At the end of the day, I think Roman Reigns is still going to come out as your heel, and I think Paul Heyman is going to be with Roman Reigns because Seth Rollins he's not a guy that should be with Paul Heyman. Just not part of his shit. I think it's going to look like he is, and I think Paul Heyman's going to make him think he is. Maybe that's part of the storyline. But at the end of the day here, I think Roman Reigns wins this main event. And I think he reclaims being a heel.
I went and chose Seth Rollins.
Because you think he's going to turn with you think he's going to turn with Paul? Paul's going to turn
Absolutely.
with him. I get that. A lot of people are going. That's the majority
so.
of people, from what I could tell. I think Roman Reigns has been a prick. He hasn't done anything redeeming since he ever turned babyface. I think Roman Reigns is still the same fucking guy.
Roman never changes, but like he feels like he did something kind of cool by getting CM Punk a main event. I'm the reason he has this match. He's taken all the credit, but it's like he's embracing him to the table. Hey man, you're a main eventer with Roman Reigns. Like that's his sort of take on this. And so it's Roman being Roman, which I love. But I look at it where, you know, as you mentioned, a lot of people are saying this, but the way Rollins broke it down, where, you know what, he's trying to make him look through Punk's bullshit as well, saying he's trying to use you to rise up these ranks also.
And where was Roman when he was getting put through a table in New York City?
Yeah, and he hit those points great, to the point where a wise man would think about these things. And who would be, out of these three guys, who would you might want to align yourself with, and who might appreciate you most now, is Seth Rollins. And I just think there's a good chance that this could happen, because it changes the landscape entirely. And then also I consider there was a promo that Cody did where he told Roman that he's going to lose his wise man. He's going to be a tribal chief without a tribe, which
chief
is what it
tribe,
looks like. Yeah, and he went through a whole list, and it almost looks prophetic. Like, and that's where I think this is a turning point where, you know, basically Roman, I don't think Roman's going to take the pin here. I think it's going to be Punk, and Rollins is going to win, because it's going to be the ultimate friend betrayal by Heyman to Punk, and Rollins will win, and they will be aligned. And I saw a rumor about there being like an authority thing. I don't think it's going to be like that personally, but I think it's going to be way different. And having those two work off each other should be pretty interesting.
It's going to be great, because you have, of this generation, you have some of the greatest people involved.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Punk, Roman. It sucks they're not fighting for a world championship, because that's where the title should be. And it just sucks it's not there, because that would have. I mean, imagine this match with the world championship on the line.
Oh my God! Talking about the stress and just all the anxiety involved for everybody that's a fan, because you know all these guys are popular on their own levels.
Yeah,
people. The crowd is the crowd is turning like pretty much with every action they do.
Thank you so much for watching High Spots and Cheap Pops. For Vladi Dottie, this is Silicon Steve Alley. Hit the subscribe button and let us know what you think. Thank you for watching, and here endeth the lesson.